As I said in the past, I have enough Armagnac samples over there to basically, like, if I wanted to do long, long flights of Armagnac for the rest of the month and then some, I could absolutely do that, and I still wouldn't get through all of them. I have a ton of Armagnac samples. I love Armagnac. It's just a spirit that I sometimes find I have to push myself to review a little bit. I have to find some gimmick to make it fun. So today's gimmick is we're going to do a head-to-head. We're going to do a head-to-head of two different houses. We're going to do Jean Bon, a small family producer in the Bas-Armagnac, the region best known for Armagnac production. They have a couple of hectares devoted to Armagnac grapes. They use almost all baco. Occasionally they'll throw a little bit of Uni Blanc in there. There were a couple of K&L picks a couple of years ago. We're going to taste those. I think they're all sold out now, but there will be more. So this is just to give you some idea. And we're going to head-to-head it. We're actually going to do 4 head-to-heads. And it's going to be going up against Danis, I think it is. If you were in Paris, you would pronounce it Danis, but when you're in southern France, weird things happen to terminal consonants. So I think it's Danis. Danis, small family producer, who have a couple of hectares devoted to Armagnac production. They are in the Ténarèze region, horseback riding region. But the soils are sandy, so they're a little bit more like the Bas-Armagnac. And they prefer to use the full blanche grape. Since 1980, the early 80s sometime, they have exclusively used full blanche for their Armagnacs, which is very cool. So you have a fun little battle here. 2 different small families, Bas-Armagnac and baco versus Ténarèze and full blanche. We're going to do 4 head-to-heads. There's only one problem. There's only one wrinkle in this. I have 4 bottles of Danis and only have 3 bottles of Jean Bon. So I need a ringer. I need a Bas-Armagnac for that one matchup. I need a Bas-Armagnac that is pretty much all baco. And I'm going to use Del Cassou. This is a L'Encantata Renaissance 2. I am dead certainly this is the most expensive thing here. But I've been looking for an excuse to try it, and we're going to do it today. All right, so first matchup. We have got the Jean Bon 1999 at 45% versus the Danis 2006. This is a Cask 13 apparently at 46%. I'm going to start with these slightly younger Danis. Let's see what we got. I love Armagnac. And particularly, I confess a certain love for full blanche. I don't want to say full blanche Armagnacs are always more aromatic, because that wouldn't be true. I would say the floor for aromatics for full blanche is always a little bit higher. I always expect a little bit more kind of floral action from them, and this is kind of bringing it. I am getting a lot of field flowers. There's some like old school post-war perfume in this. Orange peel, lemon peel. It's very fresh. It's very lively. There's a little bit of a winey touch in this, actually, which is rare to find in brandy, surprisingly. But yeah, I am getting... Oh, what is that? It honestly smells a little bit like champagne, like a good Blanc de Noir or something. Yeah, okay. And of course, I'm getting some white pepper, some dried fruit action, some figs, golden raisins. But overall, the impression is very floral, very fresh on the palate. going to start with this time, and then I guess the next time I'll start with the Jambon, just to keep things fair. I mean, on the palate, in the broad spectrum of like spirits overall, I couldn't call this like an easy drinker or fresh. There's a lot of tannins on the back end of this. There's a lot of oak on this, even for something that's, less than 20 years old. There is a fair bit of like just overstewed, strong ass black tea, Assam tea on the back end. Well, no, not Assam, Darjeeling tea on the back end of this. But in the spectrum, in the genre of oaky Armagnac, this presents as very fresh. There's again a lot of orange peel, a lot of kind of floral action, wildflowers, little perfume. I'm tempted to say cologne, but no, it's more perfume. The mid palate might be a hair bit hollow, just a little bit. I mean, it's nice arrival. It's got all those kind of fun aromatic-y stuff. There's even a little bit of baked plantain in here. So not like sweet plantain. You're talking about like the starchy plantain. And it kind of fades for a second, and then you have that big wallop of, fun tannins and like old furniture on the back end. But I do like this. It's again, it's fresh. It's an easy drinker. A couple of prunes, a couple of figs to keep, to remind you, hey, buddy, I'm an Armagnac. Hint of grapiness. I don't know if there's a candy that's like chocolate covered grapes, but if that wait, not quite raisinets, not dried. Not like dried grapes, but like fresher grapes that are covered in chocolate. There's a little bit of that going on. I'm going to add some water to this. We'll come back to it. Jambon, 1999, so 7 years. I don't know when these were bottled, but at least distilled, 7 years apart. Darker, much darker color. And it smells woodier. Right off the bat. Yeah, this smells like you took some Mr. Pibb, not Dr. Pepper, Mr. Pibb, and you poured it all over some like ancient, like 18th century furniture. That's kind of what this smells like. Just very woody, very like pruny, a little bit of vanilla. Black pepper, cinnamon, touch of like dried ginger in there as well. Very, very woody, very, very fun. I mean, and the fun thing about this is it feels like they could have left this in barrel to let this develop and kind of develop more weird tertiary notes for a while. That's kind of the fun thing about baco is it can just go. It can go for a long, long, long time. A little bit of date on this one. I wasn't really getting date on the Danis, but I'm getting date on this. And they aren't bad dates, unlike in Indiana Jones. These are good dates. On the palate. Tricky. So in terms of mouth presence, this is more consistent than the Danis. It kind of arrives on Dr. Peppery furniture, and it follows through on that, and it closes on Dr. Peppery furniture. Lots of tannins, lots of oakiness. So in terms of like consistency of delivery, like this is probably the winner, but it's a little bit more one note as well. It doesn't feel as balanced. There's some nice prunes in there. Even a little bit of like fresh mud. This is all right. I like this. I do have to sort of, even though maybe at this point in the tasting, I don't know where things are going to go with the things I have lined up over here. Even though at this point in the tasting, my own sympathies are going more with the Danis, I feel like a lot of heads would be absolutely crazy for this kind of style. If you love big, woody, old bourbons, you will absolutely flip for this Jean Bon right here. Well, okay, we're going to... It's just a little bit two-dimensional for me right now. Just get a squirt of water to this. We'll come back to it. Back to the Danis, the 2006. That's nice. Okay, so the water has brought out a lot of peach, like a lot of like stewed peachy elements. This is now starting to push a little bit into cognac-y territory, which I'm never going to complain about. I will. It's funny. I love cognac, but a lot of the time when Armagnac is impersonating cognac, I kind of like Armagnac impersonating cognac more. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of where I am sometimes. Yeah, peach, flowers, a little bit of citrus, perfume. A little bit of like, I don't know, like rose petal chocolate or something like that, like milk chocolate with rose in there. Yeah, that's totally what that is. And slightly nutty as well. Really good nose. This is developed well. On the palate, I'm still a little bit annoyed by that little dip in the mid palate, where it just kind of like goes dumb for like half a second. It's still really, really bugging me. But I mean, it's just really delicious and really drinkable. Not as much development on the palate as on the nose. Now that peachy thing that was showing up is now, it's present on the arrival, and then it kind of disappears for a bit, and then there's like a little bit of peach going to the finish. I like this, but I gotta say, it's not a deep, profound, thinky effort. This is an Armagnac just for like pouring and drinking with friends and enjoying. If you're into this kind of more floral, more fresh kind of style. So I would give this 85 points. 85 plus. Let's go 85 plus. And that is a good start to this. All right, well, no, I should keep that there while I grade the Jean Bon. All right, back to the Jean Bon. Let's see if we get beyond the Mr. Pibb thing. Oof. Okay, that's fun. So the Mr. Pibb furniture thing is kind of receded, and now I'm getting like more of like a muddy cellar thing. And a little bit more black pepper. So we're getting more on the earthy, grungy side of Armagnac now, which I'm fine with. Okay, on the palate. So the finish actually cleans up a little bit nicely. It's got, or cleans up, it's the wrong word. It's no longer just grip, 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 tannins, tannins, tannins. Now there's a little bit of, oh, what is that? What is creeping in? A little bit of quince, actually. A little bit of quince jelly kind of coming in there to relieve things. And even a little bit of floral elements. I was talking about the Danis in relation to flowers. Now this is bringing a little bit of flowers. Is it still really dominated by furniture and dried fruit? Yes, absolutely. And that muddy thing and a lot of overstewed tea. But this is good too. I don't think it's winning this round though. I think, oh, what I'm going to score this. Good presence. It's got intensity. It just doesn't bring a whole lot of complexity to the table. So I'm going to give this, but it improves the water, let's say 84 plus. 84 plus, so that's one win for Danis. All right, let's move on to matchup number 2. We have got Jean Bon 1990. This is a 30-year-old, 45%. And so going up against, oh, this is a Grape of the Art pick from Danis. This is a 1998 barrel number 34, if you're curious, bottled at 47.6. So this time, let's let the Jean Bon go first. Let's get these two poured. Part of the reason why I'm doing these sort of individual head-to-heads is so that I don't just have 8 glasses on the table at once. I've done that before, and it's just no fun to set up. So we're going to do it like this. Look at the difference in color, geez. I might have poured too much there. Oh well. Look at these differences in color. This is older than this. And that's the difference that barrels and production choices make. All right, so we're going to start with the Jean Bon this time. This one is 9 years older than the previous one. I mean, this smells like a forest. It's just like a forest that's kind of damp the day after a rainstorm. That's kind of what I'm smelling. It smells like wet wood and a couple of leaves and mud and dirt. I'm trying to find fruit in this. There's a little bit of fruit. There's one raisinette in there. Yeah, one raisinette, maybe one fig, and a couple of nutshells in there. Maybe some nutshells migrated over from the Jim Beam distillery and ended up in Armagnac. There's a little bit of that going on. But the overall impression is musty forest. That's what I'm smelling. And it's fun. So okay, so the impression I'm getting so far is if you really like your Armagnacs on the earthier side and the oakier side, Jean Bon may be your thing. And sometimes I'm in that mood. Let's see what happens on the palate. And that's the thing about baco. You can just leave it in a baco-based spirit in a barrel for a long, long, long time, and it's just going to pick up more development, especially on the palate. Lots of fruit preserves, raspberry jam. quince jelly again. A little bit of peach jelly in there as well. And all spread out along like that same kind of 18th century furniture from before. And then you're going to like cover it in like overstewed Darjeeling. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this. But it develops on the palate very nicely. It arrives very, very fruity. It's nice. And then it just closes on like the bitters, a little bit of sours. There's some like there's some orange peel happening in this. On the nose, I was really expecting this to be a little bit of an earthy beast, but on the palate, no, it's actually much more kind of fruity and accessible than 1999 was. I'm surprised. All right, let's see what happens with water. This is 45%, yeah? Okay. All right, and we shall move on to this grape of the art, Danis. This is a little bit stronger, 47.6%. A little bit more like of the four we've had so far. This is the most closed on the nose. What am I smelling? Okay, so it smells very kind of. Imagine like you moved your spice cabinet up to a musty attic, and you were just kind of sitting up there, opening up different containers. So you're smelling some like cinnamon and some cardamom and some nutmeg, but at the same time you're smelling this background of like musty attic. No, there's a little bit of like floral thing. There's a little bit of rose water in there. Ooh, and some coffee. Oh, definitely. There's some Turkish coffee coming in. Now it's starting to open up. Or I'm just getting used to it, but I think it's opening up. So my first thought is I did a head-to-head between a whole bunch of different spirits and a Macallan a while ago. This would have been great to throw in that lineup because it is nailing that kind of like rose-watery Turkish coffee thing that Macallan can sometimes do. But overall, yeah, the impression is opening up a spice cabinet in the middle of a dusty attic. I have to say, I think the 2006, I think the aromatics were more exciting than this 88 on the palate. Take some dried apricots, put cinnamon and cardamom and allspice, a little bit of clove all over them, and then like put them into your mouth, and then just as you're swallowing, have a friend smack you in the face with an oak board. And that is the experience of drinking this. That's a fun development. Okay, so the flowers I'd been wanting on, in addition to what I just said, the flowers that I've been wanting on the nose are kind of here on the palate. They just kind of like, they're not really present and overwhelming at any point in the palate. They're just kind of like there and as kind of a halo of everything all the way through. There's a little bit of nuttiness happening. Some fig, and then like it's the most aggressive milk tea attack on the back end. Imagine like you're the most tannin sensitive person in the world and you're drinking milk tea for the first time. There's a little bit of that going on in this. This is a much closer head-to-head than the previous two. They're both doing different things. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen depending on who wins the head. I mean, it's 4 different head-to-heads, so the possibility of a tie is very real. But I will say, if one of these houses wins, they will gain the people's ovation and fame forever. All right, I'm going to add some water to this, and we'll come back to it. I have these kind of neck and neck going into round 2, so it's really going to depend on what they do with the water. All right, back to the jambon. On the nose. And sometimes that's what makes the difference. This opens up beautifully with a little bit of water in it. Oh, yes. Yes. It's now... I'm still getting like a lot of like foresty notes kind of stuff. But now I am smelling like there's a little bit of bergamot happening. There's a little bit of like almost like a dried strawberry kind of thing. Peach, nectarine. It's subtle and it's all really kind of accented by a lot of kind of cinnamon and clove. But it's kind of all there. Almost like a little bay leaf as well. Like it smells like pumpkin pie a little bit. Like really, like you left pumpkin pie in the middle of a forest during a rainstorm. That's a little bit what's going on here. And I'm into it. On the palate. And they had to throw a little bit of sour cherry at me. Just a little hint of sour cherry, and I'm on board with this. Yeah. I mean, make no mistake, there is a heck of a lot of wood on this. But the fruit... the sour cherry, but also the peach and the nectarine. Little hints of berries here, and like wild berries, all mixed in with the spices and the overstewed tea and the furniture and like the mud and the wood. It works beautifully. This is a really, really nice Armagnac. And somehow it feels less woody than the 1999 and just like more balanced. And I don't know, man, maybe that's just the magic of baco. Like it can just do the stay in wood forever thing really, really, really well. I'm gonna score this. 87 minimum. I'm gonna give this 87 plus. 87 plus. Out of 100. So everything so far has had a plus. Let's see if the... I hate this pen. I need a new pen. I bought Sharpies. I don't know where they went. Right, let's see if the Danis can keep up. Danis 88. No, it still smells pretty vague, honestly. It's there's some like lemon bar creeping in now, which I'm enjoying because I'm a little bit of a lemon bar maniac. Lemon desserts are the best desserts. Come on, like they're sugary, but they're also like refreshing, and you don't feel like disgusting after you eat them. White pepper. Okay, on the palate. that was, it's so close. Like it, I was on board. The arrival is really nice. Flowers, encircling peaches and lemon bars, and there's some like spices in there. It's really, really nice. And then on the finish, it just kind of like falls off a cliff a little bit. I'm on board. Where did it go? Like it just, the second I swallow, like it feels like it all gets like sucked up into the front of my mouth, and it's all like kind of nice in the front of my mouth, but it fades. Even there, it fades pretty quickly, and there's nothing going on beyond, like, behind my molars. I don't know. It's still pretty nice. It's still pretty nice, but yeah, this thing, the Jean Bon in this round just thundered on ahead, which is surprising because I thought these, going into the water thing, I was expecting these two to be kind of, I was feeling like these two were neck and neck, but now, like, the mouth presence on this guy here is just so much better. I don't want to tank this too much. I'm still going to give it an 85. But yeah, this round goes to Jean Bon. And if you have this bottle, it doesn't seem to like water very much. Let's move on. Put these over here. Oh, and now I think Danis may be in trouble. It is time for the ringer. This is our Del Cassou 1987 versus a Danis 1983. And I'll put further information down below for all as with all these. I had the bottles in the inside. Whatever. I don't remember how I did this. So we're gonna get these things poured. This was tricky. I have to be honest. Like it was because I was just looking around all through my collection of samples. I gotta find something from Bas-Armagnac with a lot of baco from like the mid '80s, basically. I looked and I looked and I looked, and there was just these things sitting around from my pals at PM Spirits, sending out promo stuff. So hopefully I give them some free. I don't know, some free airtime, and yeah, this fit the bill. So we're gonna do it. Del Cassou versus Danis. All right, this Danis from '83 is bottled at 41%, and I'm guessing they didn't water it down that far. So this is just how the cask was, which is a little bit scary, but also a little bit exciting because some of those like naturally low proof casks can be really, really good. All right, so we're going to start with the Danis this time. Oh, man. Okay. That has layers. That has a lot of layers to it. The sun has turned on. I apologize. I'm tempted to just sit up and close the blinds. Yeah, okay, where do we start with this? We're gonna start with fruitcake. Like you're gonna start with the best fruitcake ever made. You're gonna smother mud all over it. You're gonna pour a bunch of like old expensive perfume all over your muddy fruitcake. Douse it in cinnamon. Squirt a little bit of lemon juice on top. That is what this smells like. It just smells like dense and like coagulated, like muddy sour fruit. I really like this nose. But I mean, the problem with low proof spirits is the nose is so good sometimes, and the palate just points. So let's see what happens on the palate. A little bit, a little bit, a little bit, kind of like a little bit. The palate is not living up. Let me try one more time. Huh. Still has a lot of complexity, but there's a little bit of like kind of an awkwardness, almost like a. So there's a minerality to this, like almost like roadside gravelly mud. But there's a little bit of like unfun chalk in there. So maybe there was some kid with like colored chalk, and that the chalk got mixed in with the delicious roadside mud. And when you put the roadside mud with its normal roadside gravel into your mouth, a little bit of the chalk got in, and you're like, I'm not sure if I like that. So none of that makes sense. But what I'm trying to say is, mixed in with the general sense of minerality on this, there's a little bit of like an awkward, almost like a chalky paper mache kind of thing, which is throwing it off a little bit. But the other elements here are really nice. Like there's some lemon peel, there's like a lemon spritz, just a little sour in there. Yeah, fruit cake, like like cinnamon sugar, almost like a what is I'm trying to think of something with cinnamon sugar that is not cinnamon toast crunch. Let's just go with cinnamon sugar. It's that, and yeah, just a pleasant, earthy muddiness. Finish doesn't hang on too long. Mouth length isn't that great, but the complexity is really impressive. It's just cramped a little bit by that, like, weird, chalky paper mache astringency thing. I'm not sure what I think about this. I'm going to give it like 2 or 3 drops of water, and we'll come back. And I'm hoping, I'm rooting for the little Danis here. That the Del Cassou is not going to just walk all over it. We'll see. So Del Cassou, I will, not the most prominent L'Encantado producer out there, but it's one of those. So L'Encantado, big negociant. They buy woody Armagnac from various places, and they bottle it under their own label. This happens to be, again, baco based in the Bas-Armagnac. So and look at this color. That is dark as sin. Let's see what happens on the nose. Yeah, it smells a little bit like I dumped a tin of brownies on some like a pile of dried leaves in the fall. Yeah, brownies and dried leaves. That's a lot of what's going on here. Beyond that, raisins, prunes, lots of dried fruit. That's mostly it. Maybe some black pepper. Maybe someone has a cup of masala chai sitting alongside all this. Oh, no, no, no. The more I swirl this, the more there's like some berries happening, maybe some blueberry. Okay. All right, on the palate. If you are a bourbon maniac with tons of money to burn, you might want to seek this out because there is like a, you know, nutshells smothered with dessert cherry thing in this, which is very, very, very like upper level bourbon reminiscent. Um, yeah, it's right in the middle of the how it delivers its flavors, especially in the mid palate and like the finish. Um, the arrival is much more sort of classically like yummy, muddy Armagnac. Um, so dried fruit, fig, prune, a little cinnamon. Yeah, the overall feeling is this arrives like an Armagnac and then just halfway through your mouth transforms into an old bourbon. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Like I'm down with this. I'm enjoying it. Good grip on the back end. Better mouth presence than this Danis. Little bit of raisinets in the back end as well. Overstewed tea, pepper, lots of pepper throughout the entire experience. Oh, sorry, I'm burping already. Yeah, I honestly I wanted to be the guy to say the 41% low proof Danis is better, and at least going into the second round of these two, I don't think I'm going to be that guy. I think I prefer the L'Encantata. All right, let's try this again. Back to the little Danis. Sorry, we're in southern France. God, it's such a good nose. God, it's such a beautiful layered experience of a nose. I mean, yeah, on the nose between these two, like the Danis is taking it. It just is. It's just so elegant and pretty. All right, let's see what happens on the palate. So that awkward note, the paper mache meets chalk thing that I was noticing, that kind of cleans itself up with a couple of drops of water. So if you have this bottle, bear that in mind. Try adding like a couple drops of water. No real development on beyond that. It's very, for an Armagnac this old, it still comes across as very fresh. I'm enjoying it. But it feels a hair bit light in a way that is not. Sometimes I like light, even with older stuff. But in this case, it just feels light as in like short, as in like a hair bit short lived. Still very good. I'm going to give this, oh heck, what do we give this? This is an 85. It's better than 85. Can I get up to 86 with this? Wait, what did I give an 86 before? I gave it an 86 to the... Sorry, I'm trying to remember what the hell I did. 13. No, it's right there. You know, I'm gonna give this the same score as I gave the Danis 06. I'm gonna give this an 85 plus, even though it doesn't. Okay, yeah, it actually does improve with water. This makes sense. I'm gonna justify my score by saying it improves with water. 85 plus for the Danis 83. But unless the Del Cassou falls on its face, I don't think it's going to win this. It doesn't win the nose. I like the nose on the L'Encantata here, but it just doesn't have the detail and the beauty and the elegance of this right here. But on the palate, here we go. Okay, so that brings a little bit of more fruit now, some quince jelly happening. By L'Encantata standards, this is very kind of light on its feet. It's still a hell of a lot of wood, but I'm enjoying it. Really holds together well, and it still has that very kind of like twisty turn into premium bourbon and on the mid palate going into the finish. I like it. I don't think I like it as much as the Jean Bon we just had on. So what am I gonna give this? It's good. I mean, it holds. It's got intensity. It's got complexity. Yeah, let's call it an 87. 87 points for this L'Encantata, which Renaissance 2, which I'm relatively sure is phenomenally expensive. 87 points. And let us put these over here and move on to our last head-to-head. A pair of 1979s. Let me get my last pair of glasses. My palate feels completely shot at this point. Don't pour too much in. I don't think it's just my palate that's shot at this point. I think I'm a hair bit inebriated, but we're going to finish this thing out. We're going to do this. All right, so... Jean Bon, 41-year-old in 1979. Again, I think this is a K&L pick. Versus Danis, 1979. There's not a lot of info on this label. I will put it down below as I can find it. But 45%, 46%. So we're going to start with the Jean Bon this time. 1979, Carter administration. I'm not getting much from this. I feel like I'm smelling a dry tree branch or something. There's more to it than that, but not a lot happening. I was much happier with the nose on the even the initial nose on the 1990 from Jean Bon. Okay. So it's a dried tree branch, but also maybe like a few prunes with some cinnamon on top, on the side. And a nice cup of afternoon tea. And that's kind of it on the palate. So there's a very nice kind of like woodsy, like branches and leaves sauteed in butter and brown sugar kind of thing going on with this, but it's kind of like the 1999. It's a little bit monotone. It arrives like that. The mid palate is like that, and the finish is like that. Finish holds on for a while. There's a lot of like tannin and woodiness, and it's an Armagnac. A little peach in there, kind of thrown in for fun. But yeah, at least now, before I add water, just a hair bit like two-dimensional, a little flat in terms of the flavors it's delivering. That said, the consistency of that delivery is very good. Mouth presence is very good. So I'm going to add this, add a little bit of water, and we'll see what's what. Moving on. Oh, Jesus. The further past like 6 glasses or so that I get in these reviews, the more mishaps will occur. All right, moving on to the Danis 1979. Now this one, I don't know the grape makeup because the site I found said after 82 or so, they use exclusively folle blanche. 482, which is this, I don't know. Also tricky to nose, just like dried peach peel, something like that. Apricot, golden raisins, some couple of like dates, a lot of spicy elements, allspice, cinnamon, clove, cardamom. Pretty dense, I'm going to be honest with you. A little bit of like candied orange peel, maybe. And slightly musty. There's a mustiness to it. It's appealing, but it's not my favorite nose of this bunch. I might have even preferred the what was it, the 83 over this. On the palate. So we went into some adventures in those kind of two middle matchups. But I feel like now you're just kind of repeating that initial matchup, like however many decades apart these two bottlings are, or two sets of bottlings, I should say. This is very floral, very fruity, tons of flowers on the arrival, lots of stewed peach, some dried fruit in there, lots of pepper. and the development and the just the overall complexity is winning me over, whereas the Jambon, with this kind of very consistent but very kind of slightly flat kind of character, is losing me. Exactly like what happened in the first matchup. Yeah, this is good, man. But you know, I'm not sure. Dang, it's my favorite. I'm not sure this is actually that much better than the Little Dunny 2006, like the youngest thing here. Yeah, I think if it's better, it's just by a hair. But I mean, you can see the continuity in character. Light on its feet, floral, grapey, fresh. Less fresh than the one that's a couple of decades younger, but still. Yeah, I'm going to add some water to this. We shall move on. All right, last matchup. The Danis line can't win this because the Jambon is ahead by one, but they can tie it up. So let's see what happens. Jambon, now with a little bit of water. 1979. Haha. It kind of brings a little bit more fruit now. There's a little bit of like fresh plum coming through. There's still like prune and stuff, but now there's fresh plum. And a little bit of orange. And a little bit of Mirabelle plum as well. Jesus. And a lot of pepper. Quite a lot of pepper. Yeah, water definitely improves this. Brings out the age. Brings out a big wallop of milk tea and tannins on the back end. Yeah, this is good. I thought we might have a tie. I thought we might have a tie, but you know what? Bas-Armagnac might run away with this. This is very good. Good development from this bottling. What am I going to score this? I'm going to score this one more time. I think I still like the 1990 better. But this is, with water, this is getting close. I'm going to give this an 87 flat out of 100. Son of a gun. I hate this pen so much. 87. 87, okay. And we shall see. We shall see if the Danis can top that. They're behind by one matchup. Can they tie it up on the nose? I do like that kind of marmalade thing that they do, the freshness, the citrus, the flowers. On the palate. little bit more black pepper, but no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I mean, I do like this. I do really, really like this. But I mean, a lot of what the difference is the mouthfeel and how they react to water. This is just enjoying the water that little bit more. This just gets more peppery and more tannic. It's good. It's very good, in fact. But I don't know. One more time. Dang it. It's in lots of ways, it's more my style. It's lighter on its feet. It's more fresh. But it's not better. It's not better. This is an 85. It's an 85 out of 100. Come on. 85 out of 100 for the Danis 1979, which means that's a win for Bas-Armagnac, for the Jean Bons and this pinch hitter from Del Cassou. And yeah, that's the lineup. What the hell have we got here? So, oh God, I'm gonna have to figure this out. So, in last place, the Jean Bon, 99, with 84 plus. It's no. I'm sorry. The wait, no. I'm completely disoriented. Sorry. Okay. No, yes, that is the last place. The Jean Bon. And then it is the Danis from 88. The Grape of the Art pick, 85 points. Then we have a tie between these two Danis, the 2006 and the 83 at 85 plus. And then we have, oh, I'm sorry, kind of in the middle there, we have the 1979 Danis right here. And then 287s, the Del Cassou and the Jean Bon. Jean Bon 1979. And then my winner for this tasting is actually the Jean Bon 1990. So you can still find this. This is worth a grab. Jean Bon 1990, the winner of this little face-off here. And that's the video. We are like an hour and 3 minutes in. Thank you for watching my Armagnac head-to-head. And yeah, I'm going to have a big glass of water. Thanks for watching and cheers.